Coming up on today's CODE Bet Daily Weekly AFL Show, we're talking all things round 10. It's going to be awesome. We're talking every single game. We've got Leo here with a fantasy bet for each one. Who's your favourite one all week, Leo?
Zach Butters to absolutely dominate Friday Night Football.
Love that one. Alex, what's your favourite game?
North Melbourne and Sydney. Nah, not really. I'm looking forward to Friday night. It's going to be awesome. Port and Melbourne. Let's go!
It's a massive week. We've got Dreamtime. We've got the Q Clash. We're in Ballarat. We're in Adelaide. It's absolutely chaos. We've got all the player props, game picks, and best bets you need. Better check out the CODE Bet Daily Weekly AFL Show because it's really good. Welcome to CODE Bet Daily AFL Weekly. Gotchas. Time for round 10 of the AFL. And I'll tell you what, this daily weekly show that we keep doing about AFL.
Footy's back.
Footy, I'll tell you what, it's back.
Yeah.
I'm loving it. I'm your host, Jaymz Clements. I'm the editor of a very good website. It's called CODE Bet. You can find it at codebet.com.au. That's where all of our amazing AFL previews live, laugh, love. And I'm joined, as always, by Alex Donnelly over there. What's going on, Alex?
Sinking into the couch, so I look like I'm stats guy's height, and Leo looks 8 foot tall.
And of course, we are introducing once more. He's been on the show a couple of times already. Yeah. It's our man. It's fantasy expert. There
Social
you go.
guy.
I wouldn't go that far, but Jim, Alex, how we going?
I'm all right.
Yeah, good.
It's good to have Leo on the show.
Yeah.
We've replaced Stats Guy already on 2 shows. It feels good. I'm going to admit it. It
does.
just feels good. But Leo is going to be offering up a fantasy tip, pick, bet for every single game. And we're going to go through every single game of this round 10 slate. Because this is CODE Footy's back daily. We do a player proper game pick and a best bet for every single game. We'll be doing that on this year's show as well. On last week's show, how'd we go for the tips?
I think it was...
I think I went for a pretty miserly 5.
I think it was 5, 6, 7 with Stats Guy on the 7, me on 6.
Stats Guy's smashing it.
Tell you what, it's going to be very unlucky when his email during the week next week goes to spam.
Yeah, I don't know where it went.
He tipped West Coast and North Melbourne,
Didn't get past the filter.
Yeah.
It's really tough. So that, I think, leaves me at 49,
Yeah.
Alex at 52, and Liam just smashing it on 58. I don't know what Leo's on. What are you on the office one?
Says he's on 58 on the office one, so you know what? You're on 44.
Yeah.
You've been docked a couple. Either way, the AFL, like this week is set up, obviously you've got 2 massive games. We got Dreamtime at the G.
Yep.
Carlton Collingwood on the Sunday. Even Port versus Melbourne on Friday is going to be
round.
pretty huge.
It's a great round.
Yeah.
And it's good, like the jump.
And we've got a game in Ballarat. We've got a game in Tassie. It's
Yeah.
absolute chaos. We've got a cute clash.
Yeah, we do.
It's all happening.
And Dreamtime.
That's what I said. I said that first. So. it's
Short
the
term
biggest
memory.
one.
I'm like a goldfish.
Biggest one.
Yeah.
But should we dive right in? What do you reckon?
Yeah.
Port versus Melbourne. The feature that I wrote on this is pretty lengthy, but it sort of comes down to the simple idea of the midfields, I feel. Yeah. You got Port, $2.22 at the moment with Bet $1.68 for Melbourne with Bet 365. The line's at 6.5. The over-under's only at 163.5 or 165.5, depending on where you're looking, which is weird because you go, geez, hang on a second. Isn't this 2 of the better scoring teams in the AFL? Yeah. And you'd be right because they are, including Melbourne being the highest scoring team. The tricky part is when they play each other, it all goes out the window. It's like, seers don't even care anymore. They've gone 9 straight games hitting the under.
That's yuck.
9.
That's yuck.
9 matchups. My read on this game, though, was that Melbourne are now 4-2 at Adelaide Oval over the last 3 seasons. That includes the loss to Essendon during gather round, obviously. But they've also beaten and covered against Port the last 3 times they've played.
Cool.
There was 2 last year. One of them was actually in Darwin.
But again, Port going up to Darwin just never works. Like they lost to Gold Coast up there one year.
True. So the midfield thing for this is obviously your guns.
Yeah.
For me, it was Zach Butters, 25 plus disposals.
Yeah. He's going to go head first into a contest and try and kill himself.
I can't wait to watch more Butters. Look, there's one thing I really, really enjoy about Port. It's just that young midfield
group.
Do it. Between Butters, Rosie and Co. It's just awesome. Horn Francis, obviously. But then you got the vets, Houston, Boak and Co. Yeah. It's just like a really
Haven't
good mix.
Haven't even mentioned Wines.
Wines.
Yeah.
Former Brownlow winner.
Yeah, but he's going terrible.
Thing is, he's sucked.
Well, he doesn't need to be going.
He's averaging 18 touches this year or something.
It's because they got Rosie, Butters.
He had 3 really good rounds, I want to say,
He's averaging his
2-3
career
rounds ago.
worst right now.
and now he's just gone straight back down. But either way, I think the pick there was Butters 25 plus because he's just crushing that at the moment. And then on the flip side for Melbourne, Clary. Oh, Clary.
Yeah.
He doesn't mind a touch. And we've got Petrarca, who's got a bit of a bum wheel.
Yeah.
Rolled his ankle at the end of last game. I think this is Clary's game. This is 35 plus for Clary for me. I think he's going to go massive because he keeps going massive against Port. I think he's done it a couple of times already. I'm going to lean pretty heavily on those. And the goal kicker for this one is just Bailey Fridge.
Yeah.
It's a Friday. What does he do on Fridays?
Kicks goals.
How many times has he done that?
9 of 10.
I think it's actually 10 of 10 now.
Oh.
I think I might have gotten the stat wrong
Oh,
earlier on the...
This is why we need a stats guy, Jim.
I know. 2+ goals in 10 Friday night games. That is sick. I love me some Bailey Fridge. That's $1.50, and I think that's in tomorrow's paper.
Yeah.
I think it actually went up to $1.53.
And it was in today's Daily Show as well.
Yep. So there's plenty of that one. Cozzy Pickett is also, I do love those random ones where you go, you see, when he travels interstate, he gets a bag. Well, Cozzy Pickett's kicked 2, I think, in 6 straight when he's
it's
not.
It's those random ones that I love.
I do like that. But that's it, like 9 that have gone the under. So I think this is the thing. It's a tight contest. I got to go Melbourne 1-39. The pricing on that obviously fluctuates a little bit. But the last time I saw it, it was pretty because you have that sort of, the upside's limited on Melbourne. Oh, it could be a smashing. I don't think it's going to be. Either way, I think Melbourne win it pretty handily. But it's not a high-scoring affair. It's just going to be a rough and tough. We talked about this on the Daily Show. Just a bit of a scrappy affair. So the 1-39 for Melbourne's around that $2.20 mark. With Ladbrokes at the moment, that's where I'm sitting. And there's nothing else that really sticks out. The one that I struggled with is the Port goal kickers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do they kick a winning score against this Melbourne
also
team?
remember Marshall out with concussion.
Is Dixon out still?
He might be playing. They haven't said. The teams get announced in the next hour. So.
And you think about this Melbourne back line as well. That's probably where I've just landed. I just think Melbourne just sort of strangulate the life out of them.
Yeah.
And just sort of eke out that, 28-point win where it's something like 88 to just 60. And you're like, the under hit, but they got a win. It wasn't pretty. Here we are.
Yeah.
Alex, what do you think?
I'm tipping Port.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Jeez.
Going to go with Port at home. This is where they're like, we're actually kind of decent, somewhat good, but we'll let you down eventually.
Sure.
But middle of the year when it really doesn't matter, this is a game that Port can win. Melbourne so far this season have only played 2 teams in the top 8. They've had a really soft run of it so far. But you looked at the draw and say, it's kind of tough. Well, Richmond stink, the Swans stink, and then they've played Hawthorn, West Coast, and North Melbourne already.
Well, they
It's a
stink.
pretty good draw to start the year.
Very good.
They
It's
stink
literally bottom 5 of
different
5 of
degrees.
the bottom 6 teams
Yeah.
that they've played so far this year. They've played Brisbane and they played the Western Bulldogs. Brisbane obviously got a hold of them up in Brisbane, and they got past the Western Bulldogs when that was sort of round 1. They smashed the Bulldogs when they went terrible for the first month. So I'm with Port. They're doing some stuff. Big crowd Friday night. You'll
In
never
Port.
tear us apart. Whatever it is. Yep.
Gosh, you'd be
Sure.
there.
It's going to be great. Yeah, can't wait.
Cascade.
Yeah.
Or?
But no, I was shocked though that Port was so far outsiders, and I think everyone's
Well, it's not massive.
D's are
It's,
the
it's
D's
a
are going-
6.5 point line.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like
but
a
I mean
goal.
the head-to-head. But
The head-to-head is,
it's
yeah,
like the
it's-
D's. Yeah, okay, cool. They've got the wins on the board so far, but it's like I think there's a bit more substance to Port at the moment.
Interesting. I think there's just a little bit more, size and class to Melbourne.
If this was in Melbourne, I'd tip Melbourne.
Sure.
Yeah.
Right, Leo, what's the fantasy bet in this one?
Well, you've already mentioned him, Zach Butters.
Whoa.
I think, he's going to have an absolutely huge game. 100 plus fantasy points is $2.25 with Ladbrokes.
Jeez.
He's got a 3-round average of 103, and he's just in great form. Probably Port's best midfielder over the last month, I'd say. Probably
Ever since I
surpassed
yelled about him
Rosie.
about a month ago. He started playing well.
So you
think he's had
take
4
credit for it?
No, I yelled about him before a Swans game, and then he was like really good against the Swans, and came back to.
Well, I
bite
think he's
me.
had 4 straight of 25 plus.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
he's
really good.
He's really good.
He hasn't hurt himself this year, which has been a surprise.
Got a bit of time for Butters.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
Butters is the pick.
Yep. That's
Like
the pick.
that a lot. North Sydney on Saturday, 1:45 p.m. This is the Stats Guy versus Alex Boll.
Yeah.
But obviously the big news today
Yes.
is that Stats Guy is landed. No. Alistair Clarkson is out as the coach of the North Melbourne Kangaroos.
Not fully out. He's just taking some time away from the game.
He's out for the moment.
Yes.
Brett Ratton, interim coach. Loves an interim head gig, does our man Brett Ratton. Fascinating setup now, though, because this is dead coach bounce out of nowhere. Sydney just sitting there going, we've been super scrappy like all season.
God damn.
How are we going to lose this to North at Marvel? Because that's 100% going to happen now. North are $6. I'm going to jump on it. I'm just saying.
God.
Sydney,
Do you hate money that much?
to be honest with you, $1.14 for Sydney. That's with Bet The $6 with Ladbrokes. The line is 39.5.
Yeah.
So I'd probably go north of the line more than anything. The over-under is 172 or 174. 174.5 for the under. How are we feeling about this one? Alex, this is your game.
I'm feeling terrible about it now because North have won their last 4 games when the full-time coach has stepped aside. So that's not great. Given that we did look into this. It's like when Darren Crocker took over, Lee Adams, when Reece Shaw stepped in, and there was another one in there as well.
Lee Adams. I like just like,
when Noble got sacked there. Yeah.
We're just like rattling off like names of like, remember that guy? You're like, yeah, kind of. Sure.
So that's telling me that surely North are due to have a loss here because also last year they copped Richmond, who are terrible at Marvel. I think it was they may have beat the Western Bulldogs in one of them. So it's like the setup has worked for them as well. The Swans, 12 of their 16 tallest players on the list are unavailable.
Oof.
So me being yelling about lack of tall dudes actually backed up by that.
Sure.
Throw in, Swans have won their last 16 daytime matches at Marvel. It doesn't mean anything. The roof's going to be closed, but hey, it's something. But
their circadian rhythm is perfect. So.
Yeah, exactly. But the margin between these two in the last 6 has been 1-39. Like last year, Swans were going to win by about 100 points. And at 3/4 time, pack her up, boys, we're done. Let North kick 7 in the last quarter or something. Both teams are crap. They suck. Like it's just, there's going to be me and like 5,000 people there on Saturday. It's going to be fine. But honestly, I know Clarkson stepping away it is, but watching North and sitting down and watching some of that Port Adelaide game, they are uncompetitive. Like, how are they going to kick a winning score? Like, I know the Swans defensively are slightly deficient, but they were still good against Fremantle. They only allowed Collingwood to have, 80 points. So it's like, okay, if you're doing that, not as if North Melbourne get a hold of you and kick 15 goals.
I don't know. Suva might kick 10 by himself.
Yeah, exactly. But I dug into this a little bit deeper. So in the last 5 weeks, North Melbourne have scored 279 points at an average of 55.8 a game, while allowing 587. That's an average of 117.4. Let's not forget, the worst game of football ever was included in that when St Kilda won 64-34. So you take that out, it's like 130 points.
You really need to just pump the brakes on that worst AFL game ever. Like there's been a couple of games that were probably lost to the Eons in like 1986 at the Western Oval or something.
Yeah, but
Fitzroy can't get like
modern
a touch.
History.
Maybe since the turn of the millennium.
Yeah, okay. Since the turn ever since Colonial Stadium came in. Let's go with that. We'd say that Suva, Nick Larkey needs to go big.
He does.
He can kick a few goals here because, again, the Swans...
No size.
Well, Aaron Francis is probably going to get the matchup. That's where you go straight away. But Luke Jackson got a hold of him last week, kicked a couple of goals. So 4 goals plus for Suva is $5. Then we go to the other end. Tall dude for the Swans, Hayden McLean.
Your last remaining tall dude.
Him, Buddy, and Laddams, like maybe the dude from VFL, I've forgotten his name. There's the 4 of 16.
That's all of them.
McLean, 3+ at $7.50. Talked about on the show. Laddams is expected to play because Tom Hickey is coming out today. He's got delayed concussion symptoms like everyone else at the Swans. So he's not playing, but Laddams will come back in. He'll ruck pretty much all day. McLean will chip in a little bit. And then we go to, who's becoming my favourite player quickly? Isaac, he's on notice.
Chundley?
No. Errol Goulden.
Errol.
Got the 30+ for us last week. That was $4.80. I'm going 35+ this week.
$4.80.
He's had 37 and 39 in his last 2. $6.20 for 35+ for Errol. No Callum Mills in the midfield. Errol's going to get more midfield time. He's also got a goal in his last 7 at Marvel.
Not bad.
$1.53 any time. And I'm calling it, you never write off a champion, but bounce back game for the big man. Apparently he was dying last week and still managed to play, according to John Longmire. 3 goals plus. He loves playing against North. Remember that 13 game? He's got 71 in 22 games against North Melbourne.
That 13 was in Tassie, wasn't
Yeah, it
it?
was in Tassie. And 3 goals plus is $2.65. I also have a stupid multi that's about 9,000 to 1 that I took, which includes pretty much everything that I've just mentioned here, as well as like Heaney to kick a couple, Papley to kick a couple, Jaden Stevenson to kick a goal.
Well, that'll
So,
definitely hit.
Oh,
So-
absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
As Leo said to me earlier, how does that miss? So
Can't lose.
Whoa, Errol.
It's,
I'm excited by this.
the Swans are going to win. I'm going to hate watch it. I'm going to be sitting there on my own, depressed, watching it, but I might get to sing the song after the game.
Nice one. All right, well, I'm going to tip North at the line, but Sydney with the win, I think. It's just,
Coward.
I do want to take North, but they stink. They are just bad.
Like averaging 55 points a
Like
game.
Sydney
Yeah.
at least have like just still some
Well,
quality
but you look at the
players,
Swans,
whereas like,
yeah.
you look at
But
North.
you
you're like,
look at the midfield. Like at least, Laddams is...
we've already spent way too much time on this game. Hurry up.
Swans midfield is way better. No,
Swans good, North bad.
no
Done.
L to you also for Zerhar out and Aiden Core elbowed someone in the face. So there you go.
All right.
Swans by a
line,
lot.
Sydney win. Who's the fantasy player here, Leo?
Golden, 110 plus fantasy points, $2.55 with Ladbrokes at its awesome value. Last 3 weeks has been 115, 161, and 153. So,
Jeez. And he's getting that against North.
Yeah.
So wait,
Sign me up.
if he has his 35 touches and he hits the target with 30 of them,
This will be like his preseason game where he had 50 and 4 goals or whatever it was. So
and he got like 260 points.
yeah, it'll be like
All
that.
right, so find your betting agency. Errol Goulden, 200 plus fantasy points.
Nice one. All right, Sydney win.
Yep.
Yeah.
Done. Western Bulldogs hosting the Adelaide Crows in my beloved hometown, Ballarat. Hey, Jimmy, you going to go up there? No. I've watched football in Ballarat, and I don't want to be wet, cold, and miserable. I
Are
just
there
don't.
fire
It
buckets
sucks.
at this game?
Yeah?
Will there be? I'm asking you.
No, it won't be because it's like at the Northern Oval. So.
Ah.
Or Mars Stadium, I think we call it now.
It's not a stadium. It's an oval with a mini stand.
No, it's got.
I've been
pretty-
there. I've walked through. It's got like a pub on the way through.
Yeah.
On the way to the gates.
I literally had my high school reunion at that pub, so pretty gnarly.
It's definitely not a stadium.
The
Mars
Dogs.
Park.
This is a weird one, right? Because it is in Ballarat. You never really know how to read form. So $1.65 for the Dogs, $2.35 for Adelaide. The line is either 6.5 with Bet 365 and the minus, plus 8.5 with Ladbrokes, which I actually really like, with Adelaide getting 8.5 points there. The over under 161, 162. That screams we're playing in Ballarat.
Yeah. What was the score in this game last year? It was terrible, wasn't it?
It was 125 total points.
Oh.
Okay. I thought you were going to say like
Yeah.
120. I remember it being close, but I was like, surely not.
Yep.
Okay.
So, bit of a rough one. The over-under, the under is obviously the play there because
Yeah.
it's going to be wet, cold, miserable.
Ballarat.
It's in Ballarat.
It's like if you played a game of footy in Goulburn.
Seriously, it was like, mate, it shouldn't be too bad. You go up there, you're like,
Nah.
oh, it's cold.
No,
Yeah, it's cold.
I got sent a video of a mate in Ballarat in February. It was snowing.
Yep.
That tracks.
I think we've got stats, guys. A couple of tips here. Luke Pedlar, 2+ goals.
Yep.
$3.20 for him. He's been rotated across the forward bit. And I don't know, in terms of like other picks that you feel good about for the Dogs, it's always going to be the Bont.
Yeah.
And he had like a pretty nice string of 25 plus games around his 200th. And other than that, like McRae, Bont, the forwards kind
Trelaw
of,
before he ripped his hamstring.
but then you think about the forwards as well, like they sort of do have a nice spread across North.
Yeah, but that's when it clicks. If it doesn't
Well,
click,
yeah.
you're screwed.
Exactly. So it's a tricky one. I just kind of like Adelaide in this game.
I'm going to say, I don't
Yeah,
think the
same.
Western Bulldogs are any good. They're the, 14th ranked attacking team in the AFL.
Yeah.
Like they are not that good.
I believe they've beaten the Crows 3 of the last 4.
But Adelaide won here last year and,
And
exponentially better this year.
Adelaide going to go 2 of 2 in Ballarat, which is crazy. I still remember the furor when the Ballarat Council put up a Welcome Adelaide Crows fan sign on the Adelaide side of Ballarat, and everyone went, wait, no, Adelaide fans? Oh, come on, man.
Your Ballarat people, you
They were
can't
basically
talk.
like, just stay here a night and then go to Melbourne. And everyone's like, that makes 0 sense. What are you doing, Ballarat? Now they're just cutting out the middleman. Don't even have to go to Melbourne. You just stay here.
Are they getting
It's
a
just
bus?
a 6.5 hour drive. It's like, what are you doing? Anyway, maybe 7, 6, I don't
Whatever.
know. My pick here is Adelaide. I just think there's enough class in this team at the moment that they should sort of run over the top of the Dogs.
Yeah, 15th ranked attacking team in the AFL this year.
It's pretty rough.
15th.
Yeah, compared to Adelaide being the number 4 ranked team in the AFL.
My qualm though is like if it does get sort of scrappy and a bit messy, Adelaide have looked really good when it's like
Free
nice
flowing.
and clear
Yeah.
out. You know,
You're thinking of the Collingwood game where they kicked 7 goals, 42.
Yeah. Even in Tassie, like that weird game that they just managed to come
Yeah, but
back
they were
against
flat
Hawthorn.
after that massive win.
Exactly.
At Gather Round.
But they did look good when they were flowing. And
Yeah.
might be a bit tough to do against the Bulldogs. Stats guy went Western Bulldogs 1-39. I would be much more tempted to go Adelaide 1-39.
Yeah.
So I'm going to pick Adelaide. What's the fantasy player here, Leo?
I'm having a look at Tom Liberatore for 100 plus fantasy points.
Really?
It's $1.75 with Ladbrokes. He
He's probably
averages,
been their best mid this year.
I'd say Bont, then
Bont.
Libba. But he averages 105 this season fantasy,
Jeez.
100 plus the last 2 weeks. And yeah, I just think he's a high tackler, high disposal winner. I think it's a really good value.
Nice. What was the price?
$1.75 with Ladbrokes.
For 100. Ooh, not bad. So I'm going Adelaide. Stats guy's gone Bulldogs. You've gone Adelaide.
Yep.
Adelaide, yep.
Wow. Two in Ballarat.
This is when Stats Guy usually gets one up on us because we all go on our own. He's like, nah, I'm better than you. Shut up, Stats Guy.
I don't know. I just want to know if Adelaide, if they win, do they go, well, they can't go to 21 Arms because that doesn't exist anymore. Do they get a free trip to Sovereign Hill the next day, do you reckon? Go
Never been to Ballarat.
panning
Don't
for
plan on
gold.
going.
Just get the big shaker out there. I had to go for a week of school there when I was a kid. It's great. You get to dress up in period costume and then you go, hang on a second, we're just free labour.
Yeah.
This is horrible. What are you doing? It's taking us for a ride. It's like, oh, you're learning how to write on slate. I don't need to learn how to write on slate. It's the 1980s. And it was the 90s. It might have been the 90s by the time I was there.
You're old,
But
man.
I am old. I'll tell you that much. I could have been writing on slate anyway. I'm that old, you see. But still, I still remember.
All right,
like,
move on.
it was ridiculous. It's like, let's go roll some hoops. Anyway, Freo Geelong out in Fremantle. This is a weird game.
Yeah, Optus Stadium, Freo 245, the Cats a $1.59. That line can't be right. I'm not going to believe that.
No, I
Someone
didn't
please check
see.
that line for me. I was about to say I'm putting all of my cash on that.
9.5 and 10.5 is that
Okay,
line.
there we go. The last 4 matches between these two have gone under. With Freo's forward line, don't think they're going to kick a massive enough score here. It's 171.5. And so going through it, this is Stats Guy's game, isn't it? Not me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Stats Guy did
Guy's
this.
games. I was like, I had a deep look at this, but I was like, I didn't write this. Hayden Young, 25 plus disposals. He's got 6 intercept possessions a game, 80% kicking efficiency. Takes a lot of the kick outs. Kane Corns is going to yell at Stats Guy about that one.
Yeah.
But hey,
It's not a disposal.
not a disposal.
Shut up, you tiny-eyed weirdo.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Anyway,
got a
and then
giant head and tiny eyes.
Sam Simpson, big tall dude in the forward line.
He's not tall, is he?
Tall.
He's big enough.
Yeah.
I think this
You
is.
just look at Hawkins and he's
Yeah.
like 8 foot
Yeah,
tall. He's
true,
like,
true.
I actually really like this call
Yeah.
by Stats Guy, the Sam Simpson 2+ goals.
yeah.
$3.10. It's because Cameron and Hawkins get all the attention, obviously.
And they're averaging like 3+ in all of their games against Freo as of late, and Stats Guy hasn't included that.
No.
But he's pretty keen on Freo. Geelong
I feel
at
like you
the
might have
line.
rushed through this one to get to America. So
Yeah,
that's-
this one's really rushed by Stats Guy. But I'm going to tip Fremantle in this one. Good win against the
Jeez.
Swans last week, and Geelong looked terrible. Got some injuries and have now got to go across to Perth. As we talked about on the Daily Show earlier today, the ruck stocks of Fremantle get to dominate this game, and Freo's midfield when it's going is good. You got Sarong and Brayshaw on there. Dice is like, who's that ruckman? Toothpick over there? Nope, don't matter. Bam! Down Brayshaw's throat. Clearance. Kick it down to Luke Jackson. Goal. Simple. Footy's a simple game, fellas.
Sometimes. Sometimes.
Yeah, but I just think
They are decimated by injury,
Yeah.
the old Geelong.
Yeah.
This is the tough part. And so I actually wrote Freo first, and then I just ended up switching it back over to Geelong because I just had to think and went, look, they're pretty good still.
Yeah.
They did get beaten pretty
If
handily by
this-
Richmond, but
Freo did beat them in Geelong last year as well. And when sort of having a look at it, I was like, oh, Freo, like, they're going just okay. Geelong are going to make the 8 and they're fine. That's basically all they need to do. They're going to start peaking come in about 8 weeks' time. They're going to really start ramping up. But it's like bank a couple of wins where you can here. A loss here and there now doesn't really matter.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think this is a big game for Freo.
I think the Geelong line and the under is probably where I go. I don't think it's going to be a massive high-scoring game.
Yeah.
I just don't know about Freo kicking a winning score.
Yeah.
Who's the fantasy play here?
I'm having a look
Leo.
at Tom Stewart for 100 plus fantasy points, $2.15 with Ladbrokes. It is a very good Stewart game. I think I'm not really sold on Freo's forward structure or the way they move the ball either. It's quite slow, and they typically resort to kicking down the line, and that's Stewart's bread and butter. I think high mark, high possession game for Stewart.
You've got to try and break the lines against them. You've got to keep running and take the extra 15 metres.
Like what Richmond did, that chaos game, sort of make it messy. That's what Geelong don't
Luke Jackson at full forward.
Geelong looked so bad last week, though.
Yeah. So like having watched that, I'm just like, at home, I've just got to lean to Freo.
I like it. I'm taking Geelong still. I think that line, like the 9.5 and the under. So you can get the 9.5 line, the under of 172.5, just feels pretty good.
Yeah.
Nice. Q Clash.
Hell yeah. Brisbane, $1.26. Gold Coast, $4. That line isn't right. Doesn't matter. Brisbane have won the last 8 Q Clashes. They've covered the line in the last 6 to line. So this season. So if you're taking lines at the minus, you are absolutely cheering
right now. The line is 24.5.
Okay, 24.5.
So 4 goals. It's a bit,
we'll get there. Brisbane have won 14 of their last 16 at the Gabba. These two met twice last year. 415 points in those 2 games.
Oh,
I'm no math magician, but that seems like a lot.
Yeah, so 110.93, 132.80. Brisbane winning both. This year, the Lions are the 3rd best attacking team in the AFL. 896 points in 9 games, near enough to average on 100. They've scored 110 in 6 of the last 7 against the Gold Coast. The one time they didn't clear the 110 was in COVID, and they still got to 88, where the games were like 30 minutes shorter. So this is leading to my bet of Brisbane 100.5 points over. So that's the total match points for the game for them. $1.87 Ladbrokes. And with that, over 175.5 total match points at $1.89 as well. Dry deck, Brisbane, goals. A lot of goals.
Yep.
Gold Coast are a lot of fun to watch as well. Bailey Humphrey, big fan. Enjoy watching him. He looks like he's going to be really good. I keep hearing all these Gold Coast people and people in there, he's their Christian Petrarca. No, he's not. He's not their Christian Petrarca. Christian Petrarca is a genuine machine and a weapon, and no one is like him. Don't say that to poor Bailey.
Bond.
Nah.
Crips.
Nah. Christian Petrarca is a freak.
Who else is making cooking TikToks?
Yeah, exactly. Who else taught me how to make some pork loin thing the other day? Petrarca did. Anyway, Bailey Humphrey, do enjoy what he's been doing. He was the Rising Star nominee this week. Anytime goal, $1.85 and 20 plus possessions, just like last week. $2.65. They're up and about the Suns. If not for a couple of dodgy umpiring decisions, they would have won 5 in a row, beating Melbourne a couple of weeks ago. But Chucky Cameron, he got tagged out of the game last week. He was quiet, didn't kick a goal. 9 disposals. Really bad game from Chucky. He's got 26 in the other 7 games he's played this year. Round 1 when they got smashed, he didn't get a touch. So 3 plus goals, $2.15. I don't think the line is a great bet. I'm happy to take an alternate line with Ladbrokes, minus 13.5 for the Lions.
Really?
At $1.50. Just because I think the way Gold Coast are going about it this year, this will be a genuine shootout. And then late, it's sort of when Brisbane gets some ascendancy and, it's sort of your 130 to, 110 or something.
Sure. Jeez, that's high score.
Oh, yeah, no, I'm going real high score. Like, I may watch this over Dreamtime.
I got a feeling that Brisbane forward line. So we talked about it last week when they played Essendon.
And Zach Bailey's got a goal every game this year, I think, as well.
And they've just
he's in the preview.
The upside is chaos. I love it. So, but Chucky didn't do much.
Danaher kicked 6.
I had a ragingly fun multi that I think Chucky was the one thing that just let it down. I think it was I only needed 2 as well, and he only got the 1. So bit of a rough one, I tell you. Anyway, so the pick here for me is Brisbane. I think they smashed them. I think this is a run rampant over the top.
Yep.
But how are you feeling about your fantasy there, Leo?
Yeah, I'm looking at Lachie Neale. 110 plus fantasy points is $3 with Ladbrokes, but if you're not sure about that, 100 plus is still $1.90. I think that's good value. He's been a bit down by his standards, I think.
He's only averaging 27 touches a game. What was he at, 33 last year? Or was that before he led? But he was over 30, so.
I think this is just a Lachie Neale statement game. He just sort of reminds everyone how good he is. He's probably going to line up alongside Matt Rowell, and Rowell's been in good form, but I think Neale's just going to be like,
it's terrible tattoos versus the grass eater.
The one true cow.
Also, Noah Anderson. He could go big here as well.
Oh,
and I need Jack Lukosius to kick a few goals if Gold Coast are going to keep
Better
up.
go check out the multi that's in your article there about the Q Clash. Nice. I'm still taking Brisbane, and I would take them at the line, and I'll take the over.
Yep.
Easy.
Tipping Brisbane.
Nice. Leo,
I'm tipping Brisbane. Yeah,
Stats guys taking Brisbane as well. Dream time. We have Essendon, $2.30. Richmond, $1.66. Yes. The 2.30 with Bet $1.66 for Top Sport. The line is only 7.5 in favour of Richmond, obviously.
Yeah.
And the over-under is 169.5.
It's the weather.
It's a weird one. It's like, it's going to be a bit chilly, you see, in Melbourne this weekend. So what can happen?
Saturday, 90% chance of rain.
Yeah, gross. It's going to put a bit of real damp.
Hell yeah, roof at Marvel on Saturday, Arvo.
But this game, I mean, it's dream time. It's always a massive event. It's always huge. The thing is, Richmond just keep winning them.
Yeah. But that's an Essendon thing. Look okay, get beaten in big games.
I believe, what is it? They've won 13 straight against the Bombers. 13. That's a lot. Like, it's a lot of games to win it straight against another team. Essendon haven't covered the line in 7 of their last 8 night games either. So
yeah, they did. Well, that means they didn't cover last week.
Feel like Richmond is my pick here. I'm just saying. But in terms of like what we saw from Essendon, the sort of Emperor has no clothes kind of vibe came off after the first few weeks. A couple of impressive wins. The big win over Melbourne, obviously, but since then, winless and not going great. Looking a bit dodgy. It's like, hang on a second.
They were fantastic on Anzac Day.
Yeah, they just got ran over.
Yeah.
Simple as that. The tricky part has just been all the outs that they had last week. It just sort of took the guts out of that team. They put up a pretty good fight. Yeah. It's fine. You've still got Zach Merritt. He's gone for 30+ in 5 straight against Richmond. He's $1.67 to do so again. Tim Taranto just keeps getting 30+ touches.
But Jim, he can't kick straight, and he's the worst top 150 player in the AFL.
Settle down, Kane. $1.70 for 30+ more again. What I loved about my call last week in that Richmond and Geelong game, Dusty Martin went off and kicked the bag.
He's back.
Really could have used like 2 more touches and I would have been absolutely flying. But I think he got the 23. I think the pick was 25 and it was an absolute massive multi. But the 2+ goals is always going to be my favourite one with Dusty in a big game at the G. That's $2.25, which actually just jumped out at me straight away. Big game at the G. He's kicked at least one in 13 of his last 14 games of the MCG.
And he's had a couple where he should have had like 3 or 4 and he's kicked like 1.
You're just shanking it here and there. He has had a run of 26+ touches, I think, against Richmond.
Against Essendon.
Against Essendon, that's right. Sorry. In 8 of the last 9 or something like that. It's like he just loves tearing up Essendon. Tipper Woody, he's got a goal in 6 straight games.
Big occasion for him as well.
I'm surprised he's played 6 straight games.
That's kind of it. Like, it's kind of just take it back a little bit. But
well, no, it's going to be the last 6 games he's played. He's missed a couple of them.
But this is... he's a great sort of multi-edition, I think, for that one. Kyle Langford is another one too. A couple of goals, $2.50.
Playing well.
He's playing really well. But Jake Stringer,
no,
6 home games.
No, I hate
What's he done? He's kicked 4+.
No.
Go kick it back, big Jakey Stringer.
No, he won't.
$7.50.
He won't.
Of course he won't.
It's a big occasion. He won't. He'll do it on like a Thursday afternoon when no one's paying attention.
Thursday afternoon.
Gather around when they play Fremantle next year at Norwood Oval. No one cares.
They'll definitely put Essendon playing Freo. Anyway, 4+ is $7.50. He's done that 4 of his last 6 at home. Not bad. Pretty weird.
So that mean he kicked 4 against Geelong a few weeks ago. Christ.
It's a weird sort of Jake Stringer run, but that's just Jake Stringer in general, I feel.
That is so him.
I also don't mind some, a bit of Nick Martin in there, Sam Draper for any timers. But anyway, 8 of the last 11 Bombers games have obviously gone over. Defensively, pretty suspect. They can kick a score themselves because they do spread it around. But really, the Tigers won 13 straight. 11 of those have been 1-39. So at least the Bombers keep that close.
Yeah.
So I'd steer clear of that. The line is like, that's 7, what do we say?
7.5.
7.5. You could probably still go the line and the over. Feel pretty good about it, but you could also just go Richmond and the 139 is probably where I land.
Yeah.
Who's your fantasy player there, Leo?
Tim Taranto, Kane Corns' favourite player. 120+ fantasy points.
Top 10, baby.
$2.10 with Ladbrokes.
Ooh.
So he averages just a tick under that with 119 this season. But 3 of his last 4 games, he scored 120 plus.
Nice.
Okay.
And he's just sort of lifted since Corns has made those comments.
Well, he's been a little bit more effective in his disposals here and there, right? And he's always like sneaking in a goal. I think he's actually got a bit of a run.
He got
where
one
he's
last
like,
week.
Yeah, he's kicked a goal in like 4 straight or something.
Yeah.
So
And I just think as well, you mentioned wet weather. That suits his game. And Essendon, no Parish, no Setterfield. So I think this has got a Taranto big game written all over it.
It's a good call. The pick is Richmond for me and the over. I'd probably go the line and the over.
Yeah. Originally, I was thinking Essendon, and then I woke up to myself. It's Richmond.
Maybe I haven't woken up to myself, but I'm tipping Essendon.
Oh,
Really? Yeah. Interesting.
That's guys with Richmond.
I think again with the injuries is a bit tough. Sunday, Hawthorn West Coast. We had our man Marcus
Game of the round,
he's
this
got
one.
the preview coming up for this one tomorrow. It's going to be very, very weird. If you want to watch this game, more power to you. Hawthorn, what is it, like 17th plays 18th?
Yeah.
Very close, right?
So this is the 16th worst team in the AFL versus the 17th worst as far as scores.
Yep.
So this is going to be great. 615 points scored against 540. West Coast have conceded 1,016 points. Hawthorn, geez, I love this, have conceded 900.
So this is in Tassie. Both teams are 1-8. What an absolute delight to send down the Tassie.
Sam Mitchell's got COVID.
Have the worst game all season.
Back. He's fine. I was going to say, Sam Mitchell's in a room licking people, so they all get COVID, so they get Harley Reid.
Anyway, $1.31 for Hawthorn. They're raging favourites. $3.80 against the Eagles. The line is 20.5 points in favour of Hawthorn. Obviously, the over-under is 169.
Under.
Which is horrible, isn't it? So I don't think there's a stat there like the West Coast have never won in Tassie. I think
it's like the longest flight in footy, isn't it? Because they have to fly to Adelaide, stop over, then fly across there, or is it the flight to Brisbane?
Not sure.
Yeah,
that's a good question. But I do have. They've covered the line in the last 4 against Hawthorn.
Okay.
West Coast have. Hawthorn's last 4 at Utahs have hit the under. There's a surprise twist for you. And it's pretty weird. This is their 3rd game down there. They beat North. They lost to Adelaide in a really close game.
Yeah.
Hawthorn have actually looked okay down in Tassie. Like, it's weird. But either way, they booted, 48 against Freo, 49 against Melbourne. It's lackluster.
Yeah.
So go the under.
Yeah, but also you add in now Jack Darling, who played 3 quarters with a broken arm. He's not playing. It's like Big O is going to have to kick 15 goals himself.
Yep. The Eagles haven't played in the Utahs Stadium since 2014.
Ugh.
And they lost both of their previous games at the ground. So pretty crazy. Marcus actually had Tyler Brockman 2+ goals. There was no market for it yet, though. So we're just waiting on that one to pop up. And we've got the total goals of West Coast between 11 and 13 he likes.
That's risky because their last 3 games they've scored 43, 48, and 58.
It's not a bad
Marcus,
price.
what are you doing?
$2.50 though. I like it. Tom Barras has had at least 17 in 5 of his last 7. He's gone 15+ disposals, $2.30, which is a pretty good call.
This could be the worst game ever.
It could be. So Sicily 20+.
89 against Geelong.
Duggan 20+. Connor Nash 25+. Tim Kelly, anytime goal kicker, and Oscar Allen is always the lock.
The Big O, 2 goals.
Pack her up, boy. Done. He's got an $18.65 multi as well as part of his article that'll go up tomorrow as well.
Yeah, Marcus.
That's a great job by Marcus. I'm just going to have to take Hawthorn at the line because I don't know. This is gross.
Can I have Hawthorn and the total match points under 120?
You can do what you want, but I'm probably going to take Hawthorn anyway. Leo, your beloved Hawks. Who's your fantasy pick?
Probably my favourite player for Hawthorn, Will Day.
Yeah, I like him.
He has been probably our best player this year, I'd say, winning our best and fairest. For 90+ fantasy points, $1.68 with Ladbrokes.
I like it how he hasn't got the 100+ in this game.
Nah, we've got to play safe in this game. He averages 97 this season, though, fantasy. So for 90+,
he's doing a good job.
I think that's fantastic value. So I'd get on that.
Good job. We all picking Hawthorn?
Hawthorn.
Yep.
Yeah, that is just not a great game.
Good. If you're watching it and you're those Tasmanian people going, good luck. Your team comes in 5 years, apparently.
Yeah, we've got the idea of like, how good's footy? It's like, suck on this one. Carlton, $3.05 against Collingwood.
Here we go.
142. This is an absolute banging game that I have zero faith that my boys can get over in. The line is at 17.5 for Ladbrokes at the moment in terms of Carlton getting 17.5, which I love.
Yeah.
Because I think they're, in terms of like the way the Carlton have kept it close against Collingwood over the years, I mean, it's not a bad one. Like, I think the underdogs have covered the line in the every matchup that these two have played in 8 straight. So pretty cool, pretty good. Pies have won 16 of the last 17 of the G, though.
Yeah.
They are very good.
I think it's
Carlton are not.
Yeah.
So it's not a great thing. Tricky part is we did see, 2 occasions last year, Carlton played pretty well against the Pies. Pies, in a surprise twist, ran over the top of them
Collingwood
late.
have done for the last 18 months.
Each of them, and away they went. I think, did Carlton win, actually, the first one?
No,
they lost.
They lost.
Did they? Yeah.
That sounds right.
They did.
There was, they lost both of them. Both of them last year were 79-75 and 74-75 in the historic 1-point loss.
Yes, me still yelling about Charlie Curnow hitting a snap from 25 metres out and not making it, and you lost by a point.
Not great. Anyway, Cripps has gone for 25 plus in 9 out of his last 10 at home. Huge spot for him. He's copying from all angles. Yeah. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. He came out, made a big statement during the week of just like being very observant of what's going on. 25 plus is cool. Yeah. You know, it's really cool. 35 plus. $4.20. Nice. I actually love that. Not only just $4.20, but $4.20. 35 plus is wildly doable, I think. For someone Cripps. He's done it before against Collingwood as well. So
I was looking at this earlier. Carlton have won the disposal count in their last 4 games.
Yep.
For 1 win.
Yep.
Like, stop with his lateral. It's the same problem as the Swans. Stop with his lateral ball movement.
Directional
crap.
football.
Why not get it and go forward? You got 2 Coleman medalists. Chaos theory works. It worked for you last year. And you haven't done it this year, and you stink.
It's a very good question for Michael Voss, I think. So, Sam Walsh, 35 plus as well. He's done that the last 2 against Collingwood.
God, I hate football sometimes.
$2.85. I love that as well. So if you've got those 2 big dudes going absolutely hammer and tongs in the middle, who knows what could happen. But Charlie, he's gone for 3 plus in 8 of his last 9 day games.
Get him up the ground.
3 plus goals, $1.92. But my thing is always going to be Harry McFive. Harry McFive has actually got 2 plus. He's kicked some of the worst footballs you'll see this year. He really has, Big Hazard.
Absolutely the worst.
And but he does 2 plus in 4 straight against the Pies. 4 plus goals in this game is $7.
You realise he's going to kick like 6-1 this week, and they're all drop punts, and Mark Robinson's just going to have an aneurysm on 360 on Monday.
And I do love Harry in this one. I'm just saying.
No,
I'll get to that later in best bets. Speed through the rest of this. Anyway, always as well. Like Carlton obviously love their goal sneaks between Durden and Owies. If Owies is playing, I feel very good about Owies all the time. Yep. 2 plus goals. He's done that in 3 straight games, actually. And for 2 plus in this, he's $3.15. I love Owies. I'm here for it. Pies side, it's always Miacek, Elliott, Ginnivan. 2 plus for each of those.
Elliott's been out of form the last month, though.
Who?
Elliott's been out of form the last month.
He has popped up, though, just here. Like he's still getting... It's like one of those ones where you have those patches of form where you see the ball always sort of flying over you.
Yeah.
And like, how am I not in the right position? What am I doing?
It's because Jack Ginnivan and Miacek are there.
But then Elliott has, I think, 2 weeks ago, he's getting a little bit better at it, I think. Miacek, he's gone for 2 plus 5 last 6, $1.46 for 2. Off you go. 2 for Ginnivan, $2.20. He's done that 3 last 4 of the G. Elliott, Billy, he's gone for 2 plus when they're a favourite in 9 of the last 11 for the Pies.
I think one of them was Swans 2 weeks ago. Yeah.
Love that. $1.90 though for 2 plus there. Daicos, though, here it is, 40 plus in 3 of his last 5 games. That is insane, isn't it?
Yeah, it's against the 2 teams that tried to tag him. You blokes won't tag him.
So 35 plus disposals, $2.30. This horrible Carlton team midfield has 0 defensive pressure. So Daicos is going to absolutely smash this Blues team.
He's also going to take 15 kickouts from Harry McFive.
And he's going to crush it. So 35 plus disposals. I'd be leaning on the 40 plus if you can find the market. Best of luck. $2.30.
Ladbrokes usually.
Carlton, 7 of the last 8 at the G have gone under. So go the under. And I'm going Carlton at the line plus 17.5 and the under 167. That's $3.60 at the moment at Ladbrokes.
Yep.
But I'm tipping Collingwood. I think Carlton another heartbreaking 2-goal loss. Leo, your fantasy player.
I've actually got 2 in this game.
Oh, watch out.
I like the value of both in this. As you mentioned, Daicos, 110 plus fantasy points, $1.77 with Ladbrokes. As you mentioned, Alex, no real matchup for him, so I think that's great value. And Sam Walsh, 110 plus fantasy points, $2.02 with Ladbrokes.
Nice.
Averages 118 this season and just runs all day. I think it's great value.
Multing Daicos and Errol in a super coach multi because holy crap, that seems great.
All right, the picks are Collingwood for me, Collingwood for Stats Guy, Collingwood across the board. And the last game we have GWS and the Saints. This is all you, Alex.
Yeah, I've only just started my preview on this because this one really hinges on match selection for me, given that Max King and Toby Green are both expected to be back in the team. Max King, of course, first game of the year. Toby hasn't played since he threw GWS over the line against the Swans. I don't know how good St Kilda are. They're the 13th ranked attacking team in the AFL, yet they're 6-3, but they've lost 3 of their last 4.
Sure.
You look at who they took on earlier. There was like, they beat the Western Bulldogs. And it was like, oh yeah, the Bulldogs stink. They choked the life out of Freo.
Choked the life out of Carlton.
North Melbourne. They choked the life out of Carlton. And it's just like, are you any good? Like, who have you actually sort of beaten and taken up to? And knowing, oh, we lost to Collingwood by a point. Collingwood do that to everyone. Shut up. A few injuries as well. So I'm not sure. And then you look at GWS, who got flogged by Collingwood as expected. They've lost their last 14 against teams in the top 8. But you have a look at their record this year. They're 1-5 interstate. They've got to stop playing in Canberra. Because in New South Wales, they're 2-1. Stop playing in Canberra! You lost to St Kilda there last year. Honestly, you've lost the last 9 there too. But at the Giants Stadium, 3 games.
I was going to say, but this is a Giant Stadium, so we're fine.
Stop playing interstate.
Just don't play in Canberra.
Who wants to go to Canberra? Anyway, the Giants have won 2 of the 3 games between the 2 at Giant Stadium. So looking to some player props, Jesse Hogan, 2+. He's done it 11 of his last 12. It's $1.62. Tommy Green, this is just a multi-edition, 30+. He just continues to do that week in, week out, $1.38. Steve Cornelio, he's had 25+ in his last 9, but I'm going 30+ at $1.92. He's really got to get going here if they're going to win at Giant Stadium. And then you look across to St Kilda. Higgins has been scoring goals. Got 2+ in his last 2 against GWS. He kicked 4 last week and 4 against the Giants when they won last year. $1.70. And Hunter Clark, doing well. Had 20+ in his last 8. He's $1.44. He's another one for your multiplayers. Look, I haven't done a hell of a lot in this game. I've only just started my preview. As I said, team picks are massive for me with the ins and outs. I'm leaning to the Giants at home.
I'm going to say the Giants. I think at home, I think we've seen the last couple of weeks what the Saints get smash rated by Adelaide last week.
Yeah.
They
got beaten at their own game by Port.
The horrible game against North. It's a bit of a mess. So I don't mind GWS at home.
Yeah.
Out there.
Giants has Ross got everything out of them already?
Maybe. Leo,
I'm
fantasy player.
Looking a bit different here. I'm looking at Finn Callahan.
Ooh, Finn.
70+ fantasy points, $1.80 with Ladbrokes. The last 3 rounds, he has an average of 86.
Yeah.
An average of 74 in total this year for fantasy.
Not bad.
Just sort of warming into the season nicely. Second-year player. I think he's in some really nice form, and I think that's good value to hit 70+ sort of on the wing and on ball as well.
Nice.
Yeah.
That was a good. Nice one. All right, best bet. Who do we like the most? What do you like out of all of your stuff, Alex?
Mate, I'm pretty keen on Errol, 35+ at $6.20.
Errol.
So, yeah, really love that. The $6.20, given he's hit that in his past 2. And the Brisbane Lions to score over 101 points at $1.87 on Saturday night.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Do you have a favourite fantasy pick out of all of those there, Leo?
It would have been Errol, but I'll go somewhere different. Probably
hard not to love Errol.
It is hard not to love Errol, but I'd probably go with Zach Butters, 100+ fantasy points at $2.25.
My obvious best bet is the Fritsch edition, but I mean, it's not a giant, market or anything, but Harry McFive.
Oh, God.
$14 last week. If you had to guess what he was this week, what would it be?
17.
Because it's now 19.
That sounds right.
It's going to make me so rich one day.
Not really, because you're going to keep putting on every week.
Keep losing
it's around
my
20.
money.
It's, $17. Yeah, Jim, you've lost 30.
Yeah, I've lost a lot of money. But $19 for Harry McFive. As I said, he doesn't mind playing against Collingwood a little bit. He's just going to have one of those games. Kern 9 out. I just don't see it against Collingwood. But
Kern 9 now.
Seriously, I think my favourite bet is just Daicos to absolutely tear apart this Carlton midfield and to go 35+, 40+. I feel great about that. And the other one really is Dusty for 2+ goals at Dreamtime.
Okay.
Should be absolutely massive. That to be $2.25 or what it was, I feel really good about it. That'll be in my preview that goes up tomorrow. Nice one. Is that it? I think that might be it. Good job, everybody. Thanks for, I don't know, paying attention. It's been a long one, this one. That's it. CODE Bet Daily, Weekly AFL done for today. We'll be back next week to wrap up and we'll be talking about round 11. Yeah. Footy's been back for almost half the season. Jeez!
And they've just released the rounds 15 to 24 fixture.
Yeah, so now I can plan.
It's great. I can plan. Swans are playing Richmond on a Thursday night, so I'm going to be drinking tins at the office before I go.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Nice one. Get right around the
new office.
Oh, yeah, new office.
Yeah, we'll be the new office soon.
Sounds like a live stream opportunity.
You could almost watch it from the office.
Oh, yeah, we're going to look up some live stream opportunities. They'll be coming your way soon. There'll be a few of them.
We will, I do believe. We're not entirely convinced because we don't have an office yet about Queen's birthday. But we should be talking about that. It just depends on where. Either way, get around the show, subscribe, like, and star it. Chuck a comment on there as well, would you? Subscribe on your podcast app. And chuck a follow across all the socials. YouTube, Facey, IG, Twitter, TikTok. Make Leo earn his stripes there. And send any questions via the socials. Thanks, Leo.
Oh, no worries. Thank you.
Good job. Thanks, Alex.
Good stuff, Leo. Good job.
Cheers, Alex.
Nice one. What do we say, Leo?
Gamble responsibly.
Nailed it. Look at that.
Did better than Marcus yesterday.
All right, may all your picks come in. Happy bunting. Footy's back. We'll catch you next week. This is CODE Bet Daily Weekly AFL Show. Out.
Chances are you're about to lose. For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.